Hi everybody, I am Sang Seung-oh, Head of International Cooperation Team at KFTC, Korea Financial Telecommunications and Clearing Institute. In this part, I'd like to introduce payment card market of Korea. Can you guess what is the most frequently used payment instrument in South Korea? Still, around 70% of total payment value is taken by payment cards such as credit card and debit cards. Let's start from payment card networks. There are two types of card networks, 4-party type and 3-party type. 4-party type card networks is also called open type card network. It is widely used all around the world, including USA and Europe. And the most representative two card networks, Visa and Master, is also based on this model. On the other hand, 3-party type card networks is also called closed type card networks, and it is mainly used in Japan and Korea. Now, you must be curious about why they are called 4-party and 3-party. Let me walk you through it. 4 parties in 4-party network mean cardholder, merchant, acquirer, and issuer. But in most cases, there is one more participant, that is card network such as Visa and Master. In payment process, card networks switches the messages between acquirers and issuers. And in clearing and settlement process, card networks take a role of clearing center and settlement center. Now let's move to 3-party networks. 3 parties mean cardholder, merchant, and card networks. In this type of model, card networks also take a role of acquirer and issuer. So there's no need for switching, clearing, and settlements. Therefore, card networks take a significant profits because they don't need to share the merchant fees with acquirers and issuers. However, there must be a waste of resources because each network has to operate their own network system. In South Korea, around 20 companies are operating card networks. Some of them are commercial banks, and the others are local card network companies. In theory, a merchant has to connect to all card networks. However, in reality, there is a third-party process called VAN, Value Added Network, and they are providing the switching services to all the card networks. So merchants has to need to connect to all card networks. The only thing they have to do is just exchange messages with the switching operator, VAN. Let's take a look at payment process of credit card. When a cardholder make a payment at the merchant sends the message to the acquirer to request authorization, and the acquirer relays the message to the card network, and the card network switches the message to the issuer. And the issuer check credit line of cardholder. If the cardholder has enough credit line, then send the authorization result to the card network, and the card network switch the message to the acquirer, and acquirer send the authorization to merchant, and finally merchant gives some goods and services to the cardholder, and then acquirer keep the record at the ledger of merchant. Payment process of debit card is almost the same as that of credit card. The only difference is that the issuer check balance of cardholder's bank account instead of credit line. In South Korea, we are also operating local ATM debit card network. Through this network, customers can make a payment with their cash card That is exactly the same card they use at ATM to withdraw cash. And transactions are switched and cleared by KFTC, which is National Automated Clearing House of Korea, and also settled by Bank of Korea, which is the Central Bank of South Korea. Let's talk about merchant fee. When you make a payment with card, whether it is credit or debit, the merchant has to pay relatively high merchant fee. So the high merchant fee for card payment has given big burden to small and medium-sized companies, especially mom and pop's local stores. So South Korean government introduced QR code payment service in the brand name of Zero Pay. Compared to other payment cards that charge more than 1%, Zero Pay charges 0% of merchant fee to small business owners with annual sales under 800 million Korean won, which is equivalent to 0.7 million US dollars. We are also operating QR code payment platform, and the QR code payment platform is composed of two parts, payment switch and integrated merchant management system. Through payment switch, merchants receive payment result from payment service providers such as commercial banks and fintech companies. And they are also sharing their information through integrated merchant management system with the payment service providers. Nowadays, there are so many QR code payment services all around the world, but our service is standing out for several reasons. First of all, our service is based on open public platform, which means any financial institutions or fintech companies can use this platform to provide payment services to their customers. The other reason is related clearing and settlement. In our service, every transactions are cleared by Authorized Clearing House, which is KFTC in South Korea, and also settled by Central Bank, which is BOK in South Korea. So I can confidently say that our service is much more stable and safer. Even though South Korea is one of the most banked country, that each adult has more than 5 bank accounts and 3 credit cards. However, a variety of non-bank mobile payment services are flourishing in both online and offline, and we call them Smart Pay or Simple Pay. Thank you so much.